Hello everybody. Today we're back to do part 2 of a video series that I wanted to do to find out something. Is an FVP oil filter from Rock Auto actually any good? As I was searching for oil filters for my 2015 Volvo S60, which I can link the information I found out about that below, I discovered that Rock Auto has a FVP brand of oil filter. That's what it looks like, FVP. That was pretty much always the cheapest oil filter out there for any car I looked up pretty much. The 2015 Volvo uses a canister oil filter where the round part stays with the car and the filter inside gets changed out. I've been buying the Volvo branded ones, which are considerably expensive, so I decided to compare that with a high-end, supposedly high-end Mahle brand, M-A-H-L-E, and the FVP brand, which was considerably cheaper, and I was quite impressed with what I found. For the price, these filters are almost impossible to ignore, and the quality of it looked pretty darn good. So I decided to take that a little bit further. For your standard spin-on oil filter, like a Fram oil filter that everybody out there is familiar with, do these stack up? Are they any good? Does the cheaper price that you can get these on Rock Auto matter? How do these compare in quality and price to stuff that you can get in the store? So I have 4 filters here that we're going to look at and find out. Let me show you what we've got. Lined up on my dining table here amidst the cat food and other stuff is the Rock Auto FVP oil filter. Now this particular one I got to compare for my daughter's 2004 Toyota Matrix. This is the 1.8 liter Toyota, I think it's a 1ZZ engine that is in a billion cars out there that all use this oil filter. So I figured it'd be a good comparison. So I got the FVP part, which cost me $2.69 before shipping. I'm comparing it to a Mahle branded part, which is the equivalent of the high-end part that I got for my 2015 Volvo and compared it. This was $3.98 from Rock Auto before shipping. Keep that in mind. We'll go over the prices later. And to compare what I could get locally, I went to my local Walmart and got a Fram Extra Guard, a standard excellent filter that everybody out there uses pretty much, $4.14. So already this is more expensive, not by a great deal though. And then the Walmart Supertech, which was $3.48, still not as cheap as the FVP, but about 50 cents cheaper than the Mahle part, and 70 cents cheaper than the Fram. So, and it says it's a 10,000 miles and superior protection filter. So there's our lineup. Are these any good? What I think we're going to do is get these out of the box and take a look at some things. All right, here's what we've got out of the box. The FVP, the Mahle, the Fram, which I feel is pretty light, and the Supertech. Just by looking at them, one thing I do like about the Fram is they have this rough surface here, so you can grip it really well, even if your hands have some oil and stuff on them, and use that to help spin it on and off, because really these just need to be hand tight. They don't need to be torqued down or anything. Just a nice, good, hard hand tight to make this rubber seal properly. Weight. I compared the weight on all of these things, so let's start off with that. The FVP 6.78 ounces or 192.3 grams. The Melee was a bit heavier at 7.74 ounces or 219.79 grams. It is the heaviest unit of all, and you can tell it. It feels heavy. The Fram is very close to the Supertech. These are almost identical weights, and both of them are lighter than the FVP and the Melee. The Fram, 5.71 ounces or 162 grams. The Supertech, 5.69 ounces or 161.4 grams. Very close. Little bit of difference in the way the bottom looks if I turn them over. Notice the FVP and the Melee are real similar to each other in design. Similar, except this comes with a little plastic thing over it, which I think is pretty much pointless. Nice holes for oil passage there. Nice rubber seal. The one here appears to be a tad bit thinner if you look at them than the one on the Melee. Comparable probably to the one on the Fram though, and maybe the Supertech is a little bit thicker. Should seal just fine though. It doesn't need to be anything tremendous. These two, notice the design is a little bit different. See how this one is dished up almost? This is dished down. So I don't know if it makes any difference at all, but these two are very similar. And the weight and everything else, the look is very similar. You can tell this is a bit different though. These have larger holes. These have more of them. This has like a gusseted thing where the threads are. This does not. I mean, it's a strong enough thing there. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. That does look a little cheaper or chintzier. But again, I don't know that it's going to make a difference. Both of these look exceptionally heavy duty. As I look through, the threads look good. But the FVP does seem to have the messiest looking threads of all. And if I look real careful right there, it looks like there's a little dirt on the threads. Like a little bit where it was, where the threads were created or tapped. And I don't know how well that's gonna, or if that's gonna cause issues, as I think the oil comes in through these holes and back out to the engine through this hole. So as this gets screwed in, it's probably going to be pushing any contaminants off of those threads down into there, where it could possibly, get back out into the engine. So be careful of that. Internally, let's see if I can get some light on the subject here. Hang on a sec. See if we can figure out some lighting. Don't know I'm going to see down in there. You know what? I think this would be best if we took these apart. So far, except for the threads, the contaminants on the threads there, I don't know if I saw that on any of the rest of them. And that's just something to be aware of. You might just want to clean those up a little bit. These all look pretty good. So let me see if I can start taking some of these apart. I think I'm going to take the FVP apart. I don't know how many of these I'm going to actually take apart to take a look at them. I'm curious about all of them, to be honest, though. So let me see if I can find a fairly non-destructive way to take these apart, and we'll compare the insides. Alrighty, and we're back. And I didn't bother cutting this up. This really isn't in the contentions. or runnings for anything because I'm not really comparing this one. So I'm just going to set that back to the side. I just use that mostly for price comparisons and to see if this looks any better because I wasn't real happy with the construction on the canister brand Melee. The spin-on filter looks just fine though. I don't see any real issues with that, so I'm not going to bother taking it apart. The FVP, if we take that apart, we have the canister. This is the check valve type. The little spring piece that keeps this pushed into place. Just a simple metal spring, stamped spring, nothing special. Nothing horrible either. Has a retainer there. This comes off. There's the base. Base is nice and heavy. That's where most of the weight of this is. Has a rubber piece. I think this is the anti-drain back valve here. Just rubber. It feels nice and soft. It feels like a good piece. And then here is the actual filter medium, and in just a couple of minutes I will count the number of pleats on this and we'll do some comparisons. So there is the FVP though. Let's get out the Fram and compare that again. Base, heaviest part of the whole thing. I mean, you can feel it. It's heavy. Again, rubber check valve. The rubber check valve on this, or anti-drain back valve, I think that's what that is. Don't butcher me if I'm completely wrong. But this feels like it's a lot more pliable than this is. This is thicker and feels like it would provide a better seal possibly. This is, I mean, it feels super thin. I mean, it looks like a toilet ring or something. The filter medium, notice how this is a metal-based filter medium and it is like heavily glued into place there. See the black stuff heavily glued into place. If I tried just taking one hand apart that, I can't. This is rather sloppy glued, and this is paper. I mean, look at that. That's just cardboard. Come on, Fram. I thought you were better than that. Has a center, just an aluminum center. This is much beefier and blockier. I like the design of this filter so far better than this one. And good grief, I'm going to have to count the pleats, but there may be more pleats in the FVP than in the Fram. Sorry, I'm all over the place with the camera here. So let's look at our Walmart Supertech. That's kind of cool. It's nice stamped piece, but there's this rubber, this thing here that's not present on the others. I don't know what its exact purpose is. Oh, there's a spring in it. This actually has a spring. That's cool. And this is, feels comparable thickness to this. And actually this is feels a little bit thicker. But that's cool. I like that. Okay, so the rest of it, come on. Alright, so we got a rubber anti-drain back valve. It seals really well. And this is, I think, about halfway between the two. It's not nearly as flimsy as this. I guess, you know what? Real similar to this, but thicker than the other. This looks like it has more coverage when it goes down onto that than does this. Of course, the designs are slightly different too. See, that goes down and covers that really well. So I guess that works. Yeah, that goes, I mean, it holds itself in place nicely too, and so did this one. This held itself into there. Not bad though. Or did it go like that? Nah, I think it went like that. Um, Filter. I like the filter. It is interior, and this is real similar to the canister filter design, where you've got inside ribbing that's plastic, which is fine. It just keeps it from this crushing when there's pressure applied against it. Aluminum upper and lower. Is it glued in place? Looks like it's probably glued in place. I can't take my fingers and pop that off. Filter medium looks really nice. Good stiff pleats. You know, guys, honestly, so far I'm liking the Supertech better than the Fram. This Fram just looks cheap. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, this does have a spring inside it. It just, okay. This stayed here. I just didn't see it. My bad. Okay, so that has a spring very similar to that. Okay. I like this though. I like the spring. Whereas this just had this. And is this acting as a spring? I'm not sure. I think this was the spring, but I like this better. And that's for pressure release in case it gets over pressurized or something. See, this spring pushes, the oil pressure would push against that and let oil flow through. So I like this design better with the actual springs than I do these kind. Although I'm not sure exactly how that one is designed to work, to be honest. I guess that is a spring of some sorts, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot of springing. So I have no idea how that works. This I don't like. I'm really surprised by this. I like this. I like the Supertech filter. Let me count the pleats. All right, and here's what we end up with. And I did figure this out, by the way. This isn't the actual spring. This just positions it against the bottom of the container. This is a spring here. I can push down on it. It does move. And there is a diaphragm in there that moves as well. This whole thing will wiggle around in there. So what happens is oil does come in through these passages on the outside. They push up on this rubber piece and flow into the filter medium. If this is clogged or if there's an overpressure situation, the oil will push down on these springs here, and that opens that baffle up on the bottom so that oil bypasses this and just goes right back to the center so it can come, back up into the engine. That just means it doesn't get filtered if that happens. I don't know how often that actually occurs. I would suspect that it's exceedingly rare. I do like the design of the Fram and this one, although not as much on that one. More of this for it's easy enough for the pressure of the oil pressure to push this out of the way so that oil can come out of these holes into your filter medium and then get filtered and pushed back up through the center. So I do like that better than this. This is a little bit stiffer, although you know what? I guess it's not as stiff as I want to make it out to be. It's just that the center ring here is really thick, and I guess that's throwing me off. But it holds in place and seems to seal really well. Filter media pleats. The FVP, supposedly the El Cheapo here, because it's $269, has 50 pleats. They look pretty good. Don't have a lot bad to say about them. The Fram has 43 pleats. These do look to be a hair deeper, but they're very uneven. They're not put in here very even. Where this side where the seams come together, the pleats are spread out more, and on the other side they're bunched together more. And I just don't like that cardboard at all. Not even the slightest bit. And the Supertech, the Walmart brand, 51 pleats. So it actually has the most pleats. And I like this design. So let's talk about price and then go from there. Here's my little matrix I had. This is the side we want to look at. The Melee I got for $3.98. Now, there was shipping involved on that, so if I include the shipping in it, that was $12.96 for just one of those things. Now, I believe the shipping is about the same. It was like $9 for shipping, regardless of the number of oil filters. So we're going to assume that's the case. If I order 3 of those oil filters, they're still $7 a piece. The FVP, the El Cheapo version, $5.68 for 3 of them. Now, if I look down at the locally sourced ones, the Fram, $4.14 every day, no shipping, and Supertech, $3.48 every day. So even though I like the FVP because I can get local stuff better and it's not any better in quality really, this doesn't make sense to buy this from FVP. Now, if I had a dealer's discount or I was buying these in bulks of like 100 or something like that and I could get a special deal perhaps. But this is the surprise. $3.48 for a Supertech. And I have to tell you guys, I am a little bit shocked on what I found as far as the quality of these things go. I like the FVP. As far as, do I think it's a good filter? Yeah, I think it's a good filter. If I could get it a little bit cheaper than locally, I'd probably go with it. Melee filter, not going to be buying it because it's too expensive no matter how you look at it. I'll use this one. That's why I didn't cut it up because I can always use it. I can still use it. Fram, all the rest of these components, pretty decent. This right here, I do not like at all. Don't think I'll be buying another one of these. I just don't. I'm not happy with this at all. You can tell me that it's fine. They're in a million cars out there. I'm sure they do a better job than not having any filter at all. I personally just don't like it though. So sorry guys. Supertech, I am incredibly surprised. At least for this filter, for this car, I really like this. Superior quality construction. The valve is excellent. It works great. Really nice. This piece here, the anti-drain back rubber valve thing, really well made. Feels excellent. This piece here, really nice quality. The seal, the rubber seal feels excellent. If I pull the seal out and actually feel the seal itself, it feels fantastic. It feels like a quality piece of material. And I really like the construction of this. I like the way the interior buffeting is the plastic, like the canister cartridges use, because it's a well-defined technology. It just has to keep this from crushing when it's wet. So that and the nice solid aluminum ends with polished surfaces for everything to mate up against as it's sitting in here and sealing. I think that's quality. The number of pleats and the quality of the pleats looks excellent. Supertech for the win. Did not see that coming. Definitely did not see that coming. So, do I think FVP spin-on oil filters are worth buying? For the quality of them, yes. But for your car, do some price comparisons. Maybe even take yourself a good Dremel tool and chop a couple of these apart to see. But I'm going to be buying the Supertech one from now on. I did not expect that to be what I was going to... I expected, honestly, to say I will just keep buying these because this is what I've always used. And I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So there you go. I know I've wandered, I know I've blabbed, but I'm just a guy like you sitting at my kitchen table trying to figure out what product would work best, what the quality of this stuff is by taking it apart and looking for myself, not just assuming how things are and assuming based on the marketing of this stuff. I wanted to see for myself. So I hope this helped you guys out in some way. As you can hear by my clock, it's lunchtime, so I'm going to go grab some lunch, and I will see you guys later.